Okay, so we're live now. Everyone, thanks for coming to our CZIM meeting. Today is Monday, March 21st, 2022, and let's get into it. So tonight, please send all of your questions and comments to the email address planning@cityofsouthfultonga.gov to participate in the meeting. We have a few cases tonight. There's rezonings and special use permits will be heard at the April 7th Planning Commission meeting, and then again at the May 10th Council zoning hearing. Modifications will be heard at the April 13th Council meeting. And at that time, you'll have opportunities to participate more, hear more about the cases, and send in public comment. So the first case today is Z22003 and U22002. It's a rezoning and special use permit application at 6890 Campbellton Road, and it is in District 2. So the applicant is requesting a rezoning. The applicant is requesting a rezoning from C1 to C2 with a concurrent special use permit for a beer, wine, and liquor store. The landmark here is the new BT gas station that's kind of at the intersection of Campbellton and Cascade Palmetto. And the existing convenience store there has a few extra storefronts. And so the liquor store is going to be one of the storefronts there. The future land use is commercial center, and the proposal is in compliance with the future land use plan. So this is an idea of where it is. It's right here where Fulton Industrial turns into Cascade Palmetto. And as you can see here, the future land use is commercial center. So it would be in compliance with the future land use. And as you can see here also, it's right now it's zone C1. And so based on our zoning code that was adopted by council in December of 2020, but liquor stores and stores that sell alcohol are only allowed in the C2 zoning district, and they're required to get special use permits. And so that's why the applicant is going through this process right now. And then here's kind of a site plan of where it will go. As I mentioned earlier, this site is already built. It's just going into one of the existing storefronts there. This is Campbellton Road. This is Cascade Palmetto. This is Fulton Industrial. There's a stream here that's not going to be impacted. And then there's also a cell tower kind of to the south of the property a bit. And I believe the applicant is on the call today. And I also have some photos. So basically this is the storefront where it would go. And I believe the applicant is on the call today. Did you want to add anything?
No, ma'am, we are good.
Okay, awesome. Mr. Gray, are there any questions or comments from the community on this one?
Yes, I do have one from Andre Affey, and he says, I'll read as written. And I'm writing to have my public comments read at the community and zoning meeting in reference to the strong opposition of Z22003 and U22001. This area is not suitable for this change in our community because the city and state has failed to regulate proper traffic flow. To continue to create these types of changes not suitable for the area will cause unnecessary burden on taxpayers. In addition, there's already a liquor store at Camp Creek, just 8 miles down the road. It's in a big enough plaza and it works just fine. We don't need one at a gas station. Filling that area up with office space is something to look honestly at, but not a liquor store. They sell alcohol in the gas station. That's enough. Please listen to the community and the taxpayers. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any more comments, Mr. Gray?
I'm checking right now.
Okay.
No, we do not.
Okay, great. So with that said, we'll move on to our next case. which is Z22004, which is Z22004. I'm sorry about that, U22002 and CV22002. The address is 3505 Cascade Road, and this is the piece of property that used to be a gas station on Cascade Road, kind of a little bit west of the Kroger there. Based on the zoning code that we have, gas stations are only allowed in C2, and they're required to get special use permit. And then there are a few concurrent variances that the applicant is also applying for. Here's a list of the variances. The tenant that they're expecting here is going to be Quick Trip. Due to the location of the site, there are some variances that will be needed for the stream buffer and the signage, and then a lot of the other variances are just to bring the site into the standard Quick Trip package for how they built things. And the future land use is commercial center. And so the site is in compliance with the future land use plan. And here's an idea of where it is. So this is 285. This is the driving range adjacent to the power lines, which are over here. This is the existing Kroger shopping center. And then here's another map. You can see that it's currently zoned C1, which is commercial. And the future land use here is commercial center as well. And here's a site plan of how the site will go. There's going to be an entrance here on Cascade, and then another entrance here on Cascade Parkway, with the convenience store kind of to the west, and then the gas pumps here. And I believe the applicant also had a presentation. Are you here?
Hi, Marissa, can you see me and hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, so for everyone joining, my name is Josh Mahoney, Associate Attorney at Battle Law PC at 3562 Habersham in North Lake, Tucker, Georgia 30084. I am joined this evening with Michael Burke, who's a representative from QT. And Marissa, I think you did a good job covering the highlights. I'll just show a short presentation just to get an idea of what the building might look like and what the sign might look like. It's my understanding that these things are changing, but just to give people a sense of where we are. And I'll also just be showing a quick image of the area as it currently exists. So this is an image, I just pulled it from Google Maps today. It is what the site looks like as of whenever Google updated their maps. But this site has been vacant for about 20 years now. It used to be a gas station, but they've gone out of business. And so unfortunately, this site has sat vacant for some time. And so Quick Trip is interested in coming in and developing this site to make it a little, very nicer. We already kind of talked about the site plan. So this is where kind of what the building could look like. QT uses its distinctive colors, the red, white, and brown. And so, this is all high quality materials like brick and ceramic stucco, or excuse me, synthetic stucco that they use. This kind of continues around to the back of the building as well. And this is just a sense of what the sign could look like, this monument sign that they use at their locations, as well as the fuel canopies. But one thing I want to emphasize with this site is its location. As Marissa showed, it is located on Cascade and right there at the corner of I-285, right where the on-off ramps are. This is an excellent location for a gas station, especially one as high quality as Quick Trip. As folks are traveling to 285, or if they're getting off of 285, you can easily jump in and get your fuel here at Quick Trip, as well as, you know, if you need any food or snacks or things like that. And especially there's some current development going on, especially across the street where there is an Exxon. That Exxon will be going away. So this really opens up the site as a prime use for a high quality fuel station. And that is what Quick Trip specializes in. So with that, happy to take any questions.
Mr. Gray, are there any questions on this one from the messages?
Looks like I have two statements. I'll read as written. My name is Vanjie Watkins at 118 Cotsford Drive, Southwest Atlanta. Generally, I'm in support of locating Quick Trip gas station at 3505 Cascade Road, Southwest Atlanta, at the intersection of Cascade Road and I-285 West. I'm opposed to the granting of 16 variances as requested by the applicant. I do not understand the need for granting this excessive number of variances carte blanche, as they do not represent hardships faced by the applicant as a prerequisite to development at this location. I would hope the planners assigned to analysis of this application would give time and energy to determine what is appropriate for the development of this business within the established City of South Fulton Cascade Overlay District. This overlay district has stood the test of time in creating a successful community-based business area to service the needs of the Southwest Cascade area. Please give careful consideration to the analysis and recommendations for the application for rezoning and variance at this location. I have copies of drawings, renderings that I would like to submit under separate cover for your consideration in an attempt to show how this site was previously approved for a Quick Trip at this location and without extensive variances to the Cascade Overlay District standards. Thank you for your consideration. The next one is by Harvey Davis. Thank you in advance for your support of the zoning for a long-awaited Quick Trip at Cascade and I-285. QT is a company that our Greater West Cascade community members have courted to come to this location for some 8 years now. Though this zoning should be a slam dunk, I felt it important and worthwhile to fill any blanks and share the history and my rationale with our city leadership so we can all be on the same page. This project coupled with the approved Aldi development across the street city line in Atlanta will transform the gateway approach to our city's vibrant commercial corridor. We have engaged both South Fulton Councilwoman Catherine Rao and Atlanta Councilwoman Marcy Overstreet, as they also have together regarding the success and synergy of the two efforts and the close collaboration regarding access and transportation. These will be the two end pieces capping off this flourishing commercial corridor that has been transformed under our resident stewardship and orderly development for some 30 years, even before the publics arrived. I am, as you can tell, excited that we have another chance to welcome now the latest design, which has evolved since the first journey with Quick Trip. This will be its latest neighborhood prototype at the northeast corner of Cascade and 285, which has had a decrepit abandoned gas station for 30 years, cited many times by code enforcement. I supported the zoning under Fulton County back in 2015, when they took their first look and participated along with other engaged residents, community groups, including but not limited to the Cascade Business and Merchant Association members, and members of the Sandtown Community Association, and members of the former Association of West Cascade Communities in numerous meetings and email conversations with the QT team and Fulton County. Though the zoning was secured under Fulton County, including variances requested, the project did not move forth as anticipated. Sadly, there were issues in the closure of the final land acquisition that at the time seemed irreconcilable, but thankful now they've been resolved. The trust and character for QT as a community partner that I gained after years of negotiations with developers persuaded me that this firm would not bring or ask for anything that was not of best interest of our community. That said, I have carefully evaluated the variances that they asked for, and I did not see anything I could not live with. Sorry. The denial of these variances would be a hardship, I believe, for the applicant's proposed project, which will revitalize what has been an eyesore and chronic issue for code enforcement and public works as a target for chronic litter and dumping offenses on the property. We've had stakeholders drive out to visit an existing new prototype at 2786 Chapel Hill Road in Douglasville. The report was great, and the design embodies the spirit and community look and feel of our overlay district. The prior use of this parcel was also a gas station. With the approved Aldi development coming literally across the street in Atlanta, the currently operating gas station will be demolished and the gas tank infrastructure for a former gas station, now right at home furniture store at 3460 Cascade Road, and the building will be demolished and integrated into a new building on the eastern side of the new Aldi complex, sharing the existing traffic light and minimizing curb cuts and their impact on vehicular movement. If you look at the totality of these two multi-jurisdictional subjects, there's no sum game of gas stations. Rather, there were 3 decades old underground gas tank infrastructures. There will now be one new one. This location is perfectly logical location for QT and likely best use of the property given the proximity to I-285 and dimensions of this land parcel. I like the new pump layout that does not obscure the view of the store by pumps for aesthetic and safety. I hear affirmation of overwhelmingly support by South Fulton residents in West Cascade and Sandtown. Whenever I share this project is back on and finally coming. First time we explored QT back in 2015, I did my due diligence regarding any possible environment issues. I reached out to the Georgia Environmental Protection Division because of rumors I heard about the site being a brownfield. The engineer said that it is not on their list and that QT would be the best company to come to that site because they will address resolve of the gasoline tanks and rerouting Utoy Creek in the best practices fashion. Though obvious, if not already in scope of the application, the removal of the gas tank should be the only condition of zoning that comes to mind. I was fortunate to have the opportunity to participate in the virtual meeting conducted for property owners within the 1 mile radius that was our planning code mandates must take place. Other long-term stakeholders for the Cascade Road Commercial Corridor, the AWCC did as well. I would like to see language codified about high quality landscape treatments. But again, for me, there were no variances that were showstoppers. I do not see anything in the variances that I cannot live with in light of the Cascade Overlay District. Back then, we interacted frequently with the QT team some 7 years ago. Battle Law and the current Q team have been equally forthcoming and cooperative in what for this property. And QT coming is the best possible use that we could hope for. Some not naively think that short of them buying the parcel, they cannot mandate that nothing come there at all. They do not understand that commercial property owners have rights for their property too. And either way, eventually something will come to this parcel at the northeast entrance ramp to Interstate I-285 and not nearly as desirable as QT. To recap this project, it is the most logical property use, consistency with the commercial corridor in which it is located by an exit to the expressway where people expect gas stations to be, and I support the rezoning and issuance of the variances. Thank you for your support of this gateway project, transforming the Cascade Road Commercial Corridor. And lastly, as a test to see if you read this email to the end, I will ask you this. As recognition, our achievement to get an upgrade from unincorporated to grown-up municipalities some 5 years ago, we can rebrand this sign below in one of our pocket parks in Cascade in front of the Southwest Public Library, 3665 Cascade Road, changing it from welcome to South Fulton County to welcome to the city of South Fulton. Can we get a quote to pressure wash and replace the county's logo and words with it? Harvey Davis. I'm checking to see if we have any more. And that concludes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. So our next case is a rezoning request on Flat Shoals Road. It's Z22005 with concurrent variant CV22003. So the applicant is requesting a rezoning from MIX to R5A to build 8 single-family homes. The applicant is also requesting concurrent variances. 1, to reduce the minimum front yard from 40 feet to 20 feet, to reduce the minimum side yard from 25 to 20, and then to reduce the minimum rear yard buffer from 50 feet to 30 feet. In the future land use plan and regional live work, the request is not in compliance with the future land use plan and will require a future land use amendment. So here's the site here. It's these 2 parcels at the intersection of Mallory Road and Flat Shoals Road, and it's here adjacent to the power lines. And as you can see, it's currently zoned MIX. The adjacent parcels are AG1, and then the north parcel is MIX, but the south parcel is actually R5A already. And then this is the future land use. You can see that the future land use here at this intersection is regional live work. And so regional live work includes commercial, mixed use, and office uses. But you can see adjacent to it is suburban neighborhood. And here's kind of an idea of the site plan. So this is Mallory Road. This is Flat Shoals Road. The site is right now undeveloped. This is the front yard where this is the rear yard where the buffer, the 20-foot variance for the buffer will be required. And then as you can see, there's also a stream that runs through the property, and the property owner has done a good job with planning to leave the stream area undisturbed. And that concludes my report on this one. I believe the applicant is here online if they would like to talk about their project.
Hi, Meredith. This is Ken Stackhouse, property owner and developer. You've done a pretty good job in explaining that. We feel that this will be an enhancement to the community. We met with them on a prior project, perhaps a year ago, where we were going to build tiny homes, and the community seemed to not really want that. They wanted more, I guess, more established, higher income homes to complement their community or complement that community. And so we feel that we've addressed those concerns with the new 8-home layout. And I feel very confident that that this project should be allowed to go through. I'm hoping that that's the case, but we've met concerns that the community addressed, and we feel good about where we are with regard to the project now in its current layout. Thank you.
Mr. Gray, do we have any comments on this application?
No, we do not.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. The next case is U22003. This is a request for a special use permit for a waxing studio. It's located at 5829 Campbellton Road in District 1. So basically the applicant will like to open a waxing studio. They're offering body waxing, lash extensions, eyebrow tinting, and facials. The site is zoned C1 in the current zoning and use are in compliance with the future land use plan. And you can see where it's going to be. This is Campbellton Road, this is Camp Creek Parkway, and this is Riverside Drive. And so you can see that it's going to be in this complex where the new public shopping center is. So as you can see, it's currently zoned C1. The adjacent zoning here is C1, and then the zoning around it is mixed use. The future land use is community works with in compliance with the future land use plan. And then this is kind of an overview of what it's going to look like inside. There's a reception area, and then you walk down the hall, there's storage, office space, bathroom, and a break room, and an exit back here also. And then there are 4 rooms where services are going to be provided. And I believe the applicant is on the call today. Ms. Santiago, if you'd like to talk about your project.
Hi, yes, I'm here. So I just wanted to take the time to say thank you for the consideration for the special use permit. We're excited to be joining the neighborhood. I've done a lot of research and just spoke with a lot of the residents of the city of South Fulton, and they are definitely excited for this type of business to be coming to the area. I've also previously met with the Sandtown Community Association and just shared a presentation with them on just the services that I plan to offer, and received some great feedback from them as well. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Santiago. Mr. Gray, are there any comments for the applicant?
No, they're not.
Okay. We'll move on to the next case. And I'm going to give it to Ms. Celis Levia.
Thank you, Marissa. Good evening, everyone. So this is the presentation for the modification application number 22002 and concurrent variance case 22004. This is a case affecting 5400 Cascade Road, which is a 5-tract assembly in District 1. Next slide, please. The applicant is requesting to modify certain conditions of zoning that were approved by the Fulton County Board of Commissioners in December of 2015. Those conditions are condition number 2A, 3B, 4C, 4D, and 4E of ordinance 2014 Z001. The request for modification of 2A would be to request a change from the date of the concept plan that is required to one that was drawn for this year. The request for a modification to 3B would allow the relocation of the amenity area to a non-centralized location on the property. The relief, if issued to condition 4C, would allow for compliance with the current GDOT requirement regarding the development of the tract. And the modifications requested for numbers 4D and 4E would be to come into compliance with state requirements as regards system improvements and what is and what isn't allowed or can and cannot be requested by the city. The applicant has also requested a concurrent variance to allow retaining walls exceeding 8 feet and to allow minor encroachments into the 75-foot undisturbed buffer and a 100-foot impervious surface setback in effect upon the property. These would be just to allow for the facilitation of 295 apartment units, which is 101 fewer units than they were presently authorized for. And the future land use for the site is suburban neighborhood, which is in compliance with the future land use plan. Next slide, please. This is the language that will be modified and the conditions I have just discussed. Next slide, please. This is the property, the collection of the tracts that are being discussed. As you can see, the major intersection closest to the property is Fulton Industrial Boulevard. And then the immediately in front of the property, you have an existing gravel path known as Old Cascade Road, which connects to Cascade Road. Next slide, please. The property is presently zoned apartment limited with Sandtown overlay, which means there are going to be architectural requirements in effect upon the property. The future land use designation, as discussed, is suburban neighborhood, which does support a medium density residential housing product and a diversity of housing types. Next slide, please. This is the original concept plan that was approved and to which the current conditions in effect upon the property are tied. As you can see, there are 2 wide spread out curb cuts it's developed across 20+ acres of property. And this plan here shows approximately 396 units. Next slide, please. And this is the new site plan that is being proposed. It removes quite a large segment of property, which is impacted by stream buffers for other uses, and drops the apartments down to 295 units. The stream buffer, as you can see, is located closer towards the center of this assembly, and it only really impacts 2 of those buildings. So that is where the minor encroachments into the stream buffer and impervious setback will be, just to allow the construction of that tiny little patio area that's nicking into it. And the amenity area, as you can see, has been relocated from the center over to the corner of the property, closer to a curb cut, to help preserve some of those stream buffers currently in effect upon the tract. And both curb cuts are also closer to each other, as Old Cascade Road, it is no longer planned to improve that segment. Next slide. Well, that is it for me. The applicant is also here, as well as the engineering team, in case the public has any questions. Would the applicant like to share anything else about this presentation tonight?
Hey, Ken. This is Alex Brock with Smith Gambrell Russell, here on behalf of Alliance Residential. I just wanted to add one quick comment. Tanya, I think you did a good job of presenting the application. I just wanted to note that this, or reiterate that this was originally approved in 2015. Since that time, in the last 7 years, we have had numerous conversations with the city of South Fulton and other regulatory agencies, including the Georgia DOT, about the site. And that has led to a refinement of the site design, as well as other considerations, including at the time in 2015, when this was rezoned, we did not have a full topo design. The grading design has since been refined, and that has led to some other considerations, namely the retaining walls being placed on the property. That is to say that, you know, when this was rezoned in 2015, it was of a certain design. Since that time, we've had a lot more information come into play, and that has led to the site plan that's before you tonight. And that's the impetus for our request to modify the conditions of zoning and the variances. And we're here mostly in regards to answer questions for that anybody may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brock. Mr. Gray, are there any comments or questions for the applicant or for staff?
We had one, and this is by Charles Warrior. He said, explain Cascade Road because there's no such number, and this seems to be tricky to sneak apartments in. And that ends his comment. Just check to make sure the other ones.
There are numerous different addresses for the property, but we're happy if he can forward us his contact information. We're happy to send him any items regarding this case directly, and to meet with him to go over any code questions he may have.
Okay, I'll reply to his email.
Did we have any more comments, Mr. Gray?
Sorry, that's it.
Okay, well, it sounds like with that said, that concludes our presentation this evening. As always, please feel free to reach out to us with any additional questions or comments that you all have on these petitions. And they will be heard at the Planning Commission and City Council meetings next month. So we look forward to seeing you all there. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
You too. Lisa. Thank you, Dana.